Happy Friday. Good afternoon. Late start, but we're just doing one easy one here to round off the week. I wanted to do two, but it's a little close to do the bi-weekly after like 9, maybe 10 days. But tomorrow does look, next week looks a little dicey. Nice early to start the week, dicey to finish the week. Anyway, time and temp, 4:38, 81 degrees is what we have on the clock here. Going up to my, one of my properties not too far, and talking to the homeowner, and they're kind of wanting it. I've done a few larger, not crazy huge, but larger projects for them. This one by far would be the biggest. It's adding garden beds, adding a hedge, loads of river rock, tons of river rock, although we might change it from river rock to a different kind of rock, because for a sizing issue. Then we want ground cover, like a Pachysandra, but open to other ground things. Getting rid of a little small underdeck patio, river rocking that. I don't know. There's a plethora of things on this list, and all. I mean, honestly, the plants, whatever, aren't crazy money, but ground cover, it's a lot of ground to cover. So the ground covering, although it's a cheap thing to do, is on the pricier side for, because it's a lot, the quantity is very high. I was trying to get this, he kind of gave me an idea, great drawings, renderings, he's very into that, like, and I'm like, listen, like, well, I'm just trying to gauge. It's hard when you're not. So these people don't live at the house full time. This is like another extra home for them. And I'm trying to just gauge their, first of all, the hedge will eventually be a hedge, because I think they want to match an existing forsythia. But I'm like, you buy forsythia, like, that's not going to be a hedge for a little bit. So just a little tidbit there. Same thing with your Pachysandra or whatever ground cover, unless you're planting like a crazy amount of that, which you could, but what do you want for the spacing? Do you care if you see soil? Oh, well, that's the other thing. There's a lot of shale and rock and various things that are in this, so we would have to bring a lot of topsoil in. Is it worth it? But they think it is. So, and I'm kind of like, also for watering, if you're not home, you're gonna have to water all this stuff, and they're all over different locations, and I'm like, you might be better off doing this in stages. He has a million things on the list. Do a piece here, a piece there, or 2 pieces here, 2 pieces in the fall, just so you can get the watering kind of down. I think, but he wasn't really open to that. He was kind of like, well, I'm open to adding an irrigation system. Like, an irrigation system? What? I mean, like, so anyway, then he says, well, we're trying to sell the house. I'm like, well, you definitely don't really want an irrigation system. This is what we're working with. Back in here is kind of tough. But I didn't talk to say that. Basically, like, hey, we'll talk, buddy. I don't know if you could see that mirror. Off here, because we're aiming to go off, but I was like, yeah, that's, in my mind, that's all crazy, but what they want to do is what they want to do, so we'll figure it out. I'm going to bring this with me. We're going to mow. We're going to take a look at everything. You know, also River Rock, he wanted it bordered around a deck. How much of a border? You know, I know you want it to be even throughout. That's fine. I got that. We talking 3-foot border? We talking 5-foot border or more? That all, a little deer right there. That all, you know, that could double or triple the cost of the River Rock, depending upon how much. So, anyway, we do have fresh, like a virgin grass from last year that I've let grow all season from that new patch. I brought the push mower. We're going to mow that with the push mower. I don't want to mow it with a 1,200 pound mower. So I'm going to do that. A little bit of cleanup, a little bit of tag up, a lot of mental notes for me to piece together a quote realistically early next week, probably Monday, and send that off to him. But anyway, that's the Friday Scoop. Peace. All right, check this out. We got some striping on this new lawn here. Coming in really well. So this is the area we're going to look to do. There are weeds growing through it, which I did not remember last year with all the shale. So we could definitely get some ground cover. Honestly, we might be able to do some sod too. I don't know about over here. This stuff is a lot thicker, but probably do River Rock from where those steps extend around the perimeter. I would take it up to this. This is heavily sloped. I lost a little mud flap here of the the guard of, but this is very heavily sloped down. So probably, I don't know, I take it 5 feet here, and he wants it extended to the end of the stuff of the pool there too. So I don't know, that's probably 4 feet. Might go a foot higher. I could do 4 feet all around, keep it uniform. You wouldn't notice the extra foot here, especially with the slope, because that first foot you really lose, especially in that corner. You could kind of see the depth there. I don't know if you could see how this is a hill. And then, all right, so that's one thing. Then over here, same thing. This probably get ground. Honestly, this ground cover is starting to kind of grow in. It's all just weeds, but the length from this downspout to that downspout over here, we're gonna do a garden, a bed to match the bed on the other side. I'll show you in a second. Bring it out, whatever the other one is, I would say 3-4 feet. I would have to get something to retain, you know, whether that's cobblestones or what have you. River Rock over here on top of, I don't know, are we pulling these things out? We might just go on top of this, put a nice fabric, go on top, especially if it's, he talked about maybe pulling these out, but I think we could raise them, and that would even be nicer, more cost effective. This is all staying here. And we get over here, I didn't touch this yet. This is also new grass, but this isn't, this is weak. This is the other garden bed, but it's kind of, I don't know. So they got cobbles. They're not cemented or anything in, which is nice because that's a added cost, added time. So we'll keep it, maybe put a little curve like this. We'll measure the distance here. I gotta look. He gave me what he wants to go in here. I just have to ask him the number of those said plants, and then we're gonna match it on the other side. So if there's, depends on how big they are, I would say either 3 big ones spaced nice, or you might be able to do 4 or 5 small ones, depending upon size. All depends on size. Same thing for the other side. You get like 10 small. He wants, this is forsythia. We're gonna match the forsythia here. This is all forsythia. Know that because, well, number one, you could tell, but yellows. And between this tree and that tree, so this big open space here, we're gonna add a forsythia hedge. That's not gonna grow into a hedge, but it's at least gonna be straight up. So we'll get a bunch of them to just, a bunch of tall ones to kind of grow straight up. So that's the plan here. This is all weeds, but honestly, next time I'm gonna see if they just want me to trim this into grass, like look like grass. We can make this look like a lawn. Like even this, all this stuff here is really all weeds that I just trimmed down to blend in with the lawn. So now it looks like they have a pretty big lawn going into that pool over there. And more grass over here, here. He did talk about the very last thing on his list is chopping up some trees. I'm sure this is one on his list. It's very close to the driveway here. But yeah, that's that. Extremely overgrown. Only been 10 days. So let's just close in here. It's only 10 days of growth, which for this property's in the middle of the woods, so that's a crazy amount of growth for this property. My other ones, yes. Sorry, bear with me here as I shove this in. My other ones, yes, you're doing every week. But this is every other week. You could even go 3 weeks most times. But I gotta talk to them because I know they're coming, not this weekend, but Memorial Day weekend. And they like the grass cut short, so I'll probably be back in a week cutting this grass short. And hopefully they're here Friday. We could talk to them and get some pricing and everything in order. But everybody have a great weekend. Peace. Actually, I just want to bring back the video for a minute while I'm driving back here. You know, when you price a job like this, it's tough because there's a lot of things on the to-do list, and it's hard because you don't want to overwhelm them with crazy, not even like you're gonna overprice, but just these numbers can get crazy real quick. I mean, you're looking, even if you want 10-20 yards of river rock, that by itself is expensive. Now, he did say he keeps saying he wants river rock, but the river rock we have here are pretty much all golf ball size, and he wants something smaller. So we could just see if we have like I don't know, like very small. I have to call around to the nurseries, and I want to physically look. He doesn't care too much about the color. He does care about the size, but they are selling the house, so I don't know why he cares so much. I love kids. Look at the kids. 2 kids on dirt bikes, kid on an ATV. Oh, live your lives, kids. Good for you. As long as you're not tearing up my lawn, I'm good with it. So we so we have that. I mean, you know, like I said, whatever those ground coverings end up being, whether it's the Pakistans or whether it's something else, those are relatively inexpensive, but you have a lot of that. The other question is, you can do, you know, this is a more expensive option, but it might end up cheaper in the long run. You could try sod. Now, that area is not perfect and not really prepped for sod. But if you, listen, this is where I don't want to half-ass it here, but if you're looking to sell and you water it constantly, you know, you could a million, bajillion% most likely make that work. And that's a lot less labor hours. Yes, the material, the sod itself is a lot more expensive, but you really don't need too much of that. So it's not like you know, I'd have to measure the square footage and then kind of price that and present it as an option, and then just lay it down. And if you're constantly watering that, if you put a little bit of topsoil there, like if I just, you know, again, not the right way to do it, but sometimes in the grand scheme of things, this is, you know, you're just looking for a solution to pretty it up quick. You you could always go back and adjust. But honestly, it might stick. I was surprised at how good that. I didn't think the grass would come in as good as it did, and the grass has come in excellent. So, you know, you don't know. You don't know. That might come in fine. You know, I know the weeds are coming in fine. Obviously, weeds are pesky little things anyway. So, but you know, just kind of all. You know, you get a lot of options there. You know, those plants that he wants on each side of the house are probably the most expensive in terms of plants go, but they're not. I actually priced them out, and I can get a hell of a deal on them. They're not bad. They're not bad. But you know, you're talking clear outs. You're talking. You know, what do you want to do with that soil? Like, they're very anti-mulch, which is fine, you know, to each their own. They don't, but you're putting the rock in that's a lot. That's adding a lot more rock. Are you just leaving it dirt? I mean, you could, but you're gonna have weeds galore real quick. What are you doing? What's your plan? What's your, you know, so there's so many different factors. Just wanted to kind of take you along on the walkthrough. The forsythia is very easy. You just pop those in. The locations to dig, of course, look very rooty, very rocky, so that's going to kind of suck, and they're just going to kind of go where the soil allows me to dig without making it a huge thing. I don't know. All of this is obviously to be determined. You know, like I said before, they were not receptive to the breaking it into multiple parts. Whatever, it is what it is. You know, but they've done a crazy amount of work on that house just to sell it. Now, some people do that, but you normally don't add a pool just to sell, because the ROI on a pool is not worth it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they actually sell. We'll see what they do. Everything is a we'll see kind of thing. I'm back home. This was only a couple minutes from my home, which is nice. And if they are selling, I am going to be bummed to lose the account. But you know, you never know. I had somebody move, and I was able to maintain the account. So we'll see. But everybody have a good weekend again, and peace.